This is a video on how to make a tessellation. This is the novice level tessellation. You can use a square, a hexagon, or a parallelogram. In this example, we will be making a parallelogram. If you would like to see the hexagon, go to the intermediate video. If you would like to see a square, go to the advanced video. So to make the parallelogram, I took the shape and I set it down, and using my pencil, I traced it. Next step, I'm going to cut out my parallelogram from my thick paper. I want to be very exact when I cut my parallelogram so that all of my angles, my opposite angles are congruent and my opposite sides are congruent. Okay. Once I have my parallelogram cut out, then I'm going to draw my design. I have decided to draw my design on the long side instead of the short side just for fun. I have to make sure that when I draw my design, it goes from one vertex all the way to the other. It has to touch each corner. So I'm just going to draw any design I want. This is the design I want. And now I'm going to label the design. I'm labeling the design, design A, and it is going to move over to side A. That's where I'm going to tape it once I'm done cutting it out. I'm just going to make sure I get it all the way to those corners, and now I can cut out my design. When I cut out my design, I also have to be very careful of being exact to make sure I cut this vertex and this vertex. Being exact matters in the corners very, very much, so I want to do my very best job. If I have to go a little slow, that's okay. And just to make sure that I get my vertex right, I'm going to go ahead and cut from this corner to make sure I get it the way I want, right at the lined up at the vertex. And ta-da! Now once I have it cut out, I'm going to put side A and design A lined up. This just comes straight down. That is why this is called a translation. It slides from the top down straight to the bottom without flipping or spinning. Now when I tape, I want to make sure that I line up my vertices here, that this corner matches this corner and that the opposite corner matches the other corner as closely as I can. And so I take my tape, and once I'm sure they're lined up, then I can tape them. Okay. Now I have to tape the other side. If your tape is too large, then just cut it. Make sure it's lined up nicely. And tape it. Now we don't want it to overlap on the edges here, so make sure to fold it over. And once I'm sure it's all lined up, then I can put a piece of tape in the middle. And now we are ready to trace. So you take your paper, you put your template down anywhere you would like to begin, and when you put it down, make sure you hold it steady in one place. Use your pencil to do your design so that if you make a mistake, you can erase. And you just trace your design wherever you'd like on your paper. And when you come around those corners, make sure you're very careful. Now, because I have this pointy part right here, it bends very easily, so I have to be really careful not to bend it out of shape. Here we go. Here. Almost done. All right, now I've gone all the way around the shape, and I'm going to line up my shape again. And now this is called a translation tessellation because I translate it by sliding down to the next one, and then I make sure it lines up exactly. And then I just trace again and again and again until my whole paper is covered. And I want to make sure I get it lined up exactly so that when I pull it, my template away, they match perfectly. And once I've covered the entire paper, then I can color and make my designs and do all of those things. Ta-da!